Welcome to Coupled. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Todd.
Welcome back for another episode of Coupled. We wanted to talk a little bit about we're making some incredible lifestyle changes and we're really rocking it.
Yeah, and it's not our first rodeo, as they say, but we're making another go at it. We're going to do it well.
That's true. That's true. We started watching a show on Netflix. And it totally has shifted the way we think about what we're eating and the choices we're making.
Yeah, what we're putting into our body.
Right. So the show we're watching
is Down to Earth, highly recommended. It's got Zac Efron and Darren O'Lean in it. Darren O'Lean,
yeah. It's a documentary and they travel around the world talking about sustainability. And Darren is the author of his book called Super Life, which is all about superfoods. And so Todd immediately ordered the book right when we started watching the show.
Yeah, episode 1, as soon as we saw that he was an author of the book, and they said he wrote the book. And I've been interested in this stuff for a long time. So yeah, I went on Amazon and found it right away and put an order for it. Of course, I have a tendency to say the wrong words. So I called it Super Fun, and then it became a joke because I couldn't remember the name was Super Life. So it's super fun.
It's Super Life, yeah. And so how we've incorporated reading this book is kind of special. We read it to each other every night after we go to bed.
Yeah, we take turns. So somebody will start one night, and then we'll read, and one person gets to listen, and then the next person gets to read. And the best part about that is I wear glasses, and I've worn glasses my whole life. And as I've gotten older, my eyesight's gotten terrible. And for some reason, this publisher decided that they'd put the tiniest print out for people to read. And so it's very difficult for me. And so taking turns is amazing.
It's so annoying. The tiny print, I think it's like a 16 point. That's a joke. It feels like a 10 point. It looks like a 10-point font. But anyway, we are super inspired. Yeah. We're super inspired to make the changes in our life. And we've
motivated.
We're very motivated. And we've been, like Todd said, we've been here before. A few years ago, we went completely vegan.
100%. Yeah.
100% vegan. And that was because we watched some documentaries on Netflix. And so it really nailed in our minds our why we were doing it. And so after just getting away from the lifestyle gradually, it happens gradually.
It starts with a chicken wing for me.
It starts with a chicken wing. That's true. And so this book has brought us back to the why. And one of the things that we changed first was drinking water.
Yeah, the very first thing. So we live in Arizona, as you've heard in every episode so far. We have the world's, well, maybe not the world's, but the U.S. worst water here. It's very hard. It's very minerally, which is supposedly good. But then when the city gets through with it, trying to make it healthy for everybody, it's awful. The worst taste ever. It tastes like you're drinking dirt or something. And you can have a big glass of water and you're still thirsty afterwards.
Oh, it just tastes terrible. And so one piece that Darren speaks about, and in the show, you'll see Zac and Darren talk about this, is that our distilled water, which we have a reverse osmosis, which most people do in Arizona. Otherwise, you're buying your water, and you don't want to buy it in plastic and be drinking what's leaching out into your water from the plastic. And Darren goes into this, some in the show and much deeper in the book. I think Darren is an analyzer.
He has all the facts. It's very inspiring. I like it.
He does have all the facts. And so what we discovered was that our water it doesn't have the minerals in it that we need. But luckily, Darren gives us the answer to that.
Yeah, so what he says is the best water for us to drink in this case is to have distilled water, or in our case, reverse osmosis. It's actually a little bit more distilled than distilled with a cheaper process. Analyzer knew those facts. And what you do is you put a pinch of unprocessed salt into it so you get those tiny minerals back into your body in the distilled water.
And
Well, you should also have other things, so you can put lemon juice and cayenne in it, but the big part of it is the salt. With
the salt. So we have Himalayan pink salt,
Mhm.
right? And so we've been gung ho at this, right? But let me warn you, I'm kind of I go all out, balls to the wall, some may say.
Yeah, and the instructions are for if you have a large sized glass of water, it's just a pinch of salt, or if you want to mix a gallon at a time, it's half a teaspoon. Well, Michelle, if you watch her make it, you see her fill up her glass, which is 20 ounces because we measured it, or she measured it actually.
Yeah.
And
I
you see this, you see shake, 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 shake,
I
shake
can't
of the
see
salt.
the salt go in, right? I can't, I want to see the salt and I mix it up and then I pour the cayenne. So I dump that in.
So the top of
Cayenne's
it's
good for
red.
you.
The top of it's red.
It's red.
There's a layer of salt on the bottom.
If a little bit of cayenne is good, then a lot of cayenne must be great. And then we put some lemon juice in it. And honestly, you can't taste it, but I'll warn you about the cayenne. When that stuff hits the back of your throat, I've learned that I have to like not be on a Zoom meeting or be having a conversation like this.
It's not a casual sip.
It's not a because the heat hits the back of your throat and it's made me cough like or interrupts me. I get this tickle in my throat and I can't talk anymore. But we've totally increased our amount of water. Let's just say we're totally transforming it. My big beer glass holds 20 ounces of water. So I know that I drink 3 of those every day, along with some short glasses of water. And it totally shifts my energy. So that's what I do in the afternoon is I get myself a glass of water if I'm starting to feel sluggish.
Mm-hmm. And I have 2 large glasses in the morning as well, which I've always been terrible about getting up and having water. So
that's true.
This has really motivated me because I'll have a glass of water with the salt in the morning, and then we go for a walk, which I'm not sure if it's 1.6 miles or 2.6 miles because my pedometer is always changing. So it's somewhere in that vicinity. Let's just call it 2 miles. Yeah.
The deets. Todd's got the deets.
and then a glass of water after I get back. And then I finally get to reward myself and have my cold filtered coffee in the morning, which I make myself.
Right. Your iced coffee. So that's but what Darren talked about was how your cells need to be hydrated, how it affects your brain. And so this really helps with our marriage because Todd's the analyzer. And so he's got the details. But one of his favorite sayings for me is, don't listen to what I say, listen to what I mean. Because he's always saying the wrong words. And then we have communication problems. So I'm like, honey, drink your water. Drink your water. I'm hoping his brain will get hydrated and he'll say what he means.
Yeah, we're hoping. Like last night we were at dinner and we were laughing and I told her a story about a restaurant and she said something like, "Why did you say Arizona?" And I go, "I don't even think I said Arizona." But obviously I did because it didn't
make sense. That it didn't go with the sentence. He was like, "Well, I wasn't even mentioning a state." Oh, you did. You did. So we're so inspired that today, Saturday morning, I got up and rode my bike, and my sweet husband, I was getting up at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I go, I'm going to go for a bike ride. And he's like, "Oh, good job, honey. Good job."
Great.
And I come out getting my clothes on and he's up. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm afraid your bike tires are going to need filled up," because that's in Arizona. That's how we know when it's fall, because it's not.
It's not the temperature.
It's not it's the temperature a little bit because it actually gets cooler at night. And so our vehicles are dinging at us saying that our tires need more. The tire pressure is low. And so my bike tires were low too because it actually cooled off a little bit at night.
Yeah, so, fall and spring every year we have tire issues. It's the weirdest thing. It's you can almost set a clock to it.
That's how we know it's fall and spring.
Right.
Because it's not anything else.
Yeah, so when you said you were going to go for a bike ride, I was going, "Oh, good, I get to sleep in." And then I thought about it and I go, "Oh, I bet you those bike tires are going to be flat."
So look how sweet he is. Thank you, honey.
My pleasure, yeah. And they were flat.
They were, yeah. So I had a great bike ride and then we're like, okay, Darren talks about eating locally. So let's go to the farmer's market downtown. So we want to get there early because just like cats, when you go to adopt a cat, you want to get there early because all the good cats will be gone. So at the local farm market, you want to get there early. One, it's cooler because it's Arizona. Two,
you got to get there before all the produce is gone.
Before all the produce is gone, right?
Yeah.
Because it might be a farmer's market, but there's only 2 farmers there. So
yeah, it's more like a farmer's table.
Right.
Farmer's market.
Right. And so we did have to get there early, and we got a watermelon and some potatoes.
Yeah, but before we got there, don't forget what happened is we talked about our cat Ramsey last time, but we have a dog named Duchess who is an amazing dog, the best dog I've ever had. But she's a very finicky eater as well, too. So when we knew we were going to go to the farmer's market, I threw some dog food in her bowl, and she came running over, and she looks down at the dog food.
She stares at it. She
stares at
her
it
bowl
and doesn't touch it. And the reason is we know this because this is a morning routine, is usually she gets a little bit of egg in the morning with her dog food, and there was no egg, so she is not eating that.
She has not eaten it yet, right? Seriously, I tried to get her to go outside, and she's like, no, I'm not going out. I'm not going out. And Todd gives her food. She runs over to the dish, and she just stares at it. And then she lays by it.
And then she lays by it.
And then we get home an hour and a half later from the farmer's market, and her bowl is still full of food because she hasn't gotten her eggs. And she does because when Todd makes eggs during the week, he scrapes the pan and gives her some eggs on top. So Duchess is our little princess. Yeah, she's definitely our
She was
Duchess.
Named correctly when you named her.
Yes. So talk about eating habits. She totally got into the eating habits. But I remember when I moved here 16 years ago and came from Colorado, and we had a farmer's market, a farm market in Colorado. And you got up early to go to that because it started early. It's cooler. The farmers are all set up. And we lived in a town of about 30,000. We lived in Grand Junction, Colorado, but that is a very rural area. And we have Palisade peaches. Oh my gosh, it's been so many years since I've had that. But you have table after table after table after table of fresh fruits and vegetables and pumpkins and watermelons and fresh flowers and Olathe sweet corn. Oh my God, I remember that. And then we moved to Arizona, and I was like, oh, downtown Gilbert has a farmer's market. And this is I think it's before the farmer's market that we have now, because I went to the old farmhouse. I'm like, oh, this is just like home. This is just like home. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell is this? There was not, I don't know if we got there too late. The farmers here are way different. Yeah. There was no produce. I don't know if went home just like devastated. My kids were like, what was that? Like, I have no idea. Well, I guess it's the desert.
That's right. So I grew up here in Arizona in a small town, and we didn't have farmers market. I had never even heard of that until I moved out. So at one point in my life, I had moved to Oregon for 10 years. And I started going to the farmer's market there. And oh man, just like you said, it was unbelievable. It was like wall to wall, delicious food. They had street vendors. There was several farms there helping each other, not even competing. They'd, if one place ran out of lettuce, they'd be like, oh, go down to so-and-so farmers down there. They've got great lettuce. And so they helped each other out. And they had street performers and bands. And it was a festive activity. You looked forward to going to it. And I was there for 10 years. And about 10 years ago, I moved back to Arizona. And I go, oh, well, look, they have farmers markets here now. Well, they probably always did. I just didn't know. And so the same thing happened to me. I was all excited to go. And basically it's, dusty Arizona. And there's one table with lettuce, tomatoes, and squash.
It has grown since then. We went downtown today. And so there's 2 nice rows. You kind of walk in a big circle. And there's food trucks.
Yeah, food trucks on the back row.
Right. There's so we're going there to buy local because, one, you want to buy local because you're eating what's in season, which is good for your body.
It has the nutrients and stuff are still as best as possible before it's processed and it's been cut, so they're slowly deteriorating.
Right. So we're
not shipped. Yeah.
The way Darren talks about this is like, oh yeah, because honestly, and I'm obviously slow to get on this boat. I was like, what's the matter to eat local? But Darren explains this so well in his book, and he's not paying us for this. So we just thought we'd share this experience that we wanted to get some local produce. So,
but Darren, if you're ever around,
Darren,
we'd love to talk to you.
If you're listening, hey, so we went to the produce first, and we got a nice watermelon and some potatoes and tomatoes and onion. So we're going to create our menu this week around the local produce that we got.
Yes.
So as we're walking around, so that's it for produce, right?
We hit the produce and a half table. We decided to go put those in the car and walk around and see what else was. And then we went on a quest for local honey for other reasons, because that's also very good. When you have local honey, they use the local plants for pollination to collect that and make the bee honey. And somehow this helps with allergies, because when you ingest it, your body builds up natural histamines. And so you want local honey.
Right. So, and Todd has allergies often. I have never had allergies until I moved here. And so occasionally I'll have allergies. So we got some local honey, but we passed one table and we're like, okay, let's come back. There was a line. Let's explore. And then we went past another local honey. And so we're looking at the sign and it says unfiltered.
And you could see the honeycomb in it and it looked like chunks in the honey. And me, I like the filtered honey because I just do. That's what I've always had.
And I'm asking Todd, because he's the analyzer.
Yeah, that's right.
What's the difference between the unfiltered and filtered honey? And he goes, well, I think you're going to get chunks in it, right? And I like my honey raw, and I usually get raw honey at Sprouts, and it's this big, thick, creamy stuff, and that's what I really like. And I was like, oh no, let's go back to the other table. Let's get the filtered stuff.
Yeah.
So we walk back to the other table, and we're talking to her, and she's like, all of our honey is unfiltered. Like, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do the unfiltered. That must be much better. So,
and now I know that the definition of unfiltered means new honey.
new honey.
No,
right?
I don't know what that means.
No, I don't know what it means. But we got the wildflower, Arizona wildflower desert honey, and so we're gonna give that a try. And we definitely it feels really good to support our local farmers and to support the bees. Bees are essential, are absolutely essential for our environment. Mm-hmm. So we got that, but we thought it was pretty funny because we're like honey virgins or something. We don't really know. And Todd will probably do a Google search and really find out the difference between filtered and unfiltered. And we know that things coming from nature is super important for us. And in one of the episodes, we saw Zac Efron. They were milking a goat, and Zac drank it straight from the goat. And he's like, "Wait, it doesn't need pasteurized." We've been so misinformed by what our body needs.
Yeah, it's all marketing, and it goes way deeper than that, because people will cite scientific studies. Oh, well, a study said this. Well, people don't realize they play games with studies. And just for one example, and this little tangent, I know it's detailed and people will get bored with this, but a company may fund 40 scientific projects, but they're trying to find a specific result. And if, let's say, 35 of those don't get the result they want, those are never written up in the journal, only the 5 that they wanted the outcome to come. So that's how there's always so much confusing information out there.
Right. So you can get really confused very quickly about, what studies to follow. But anyway, we get our honey and we decide to walk around a little bit more, and there's a shrimp vendor. Now we know that's local in the desert.
Yeah, that's definitely local. I love my desert shrimp. They're half baked before you even get them. They're great. Yeah.
Half baked shrimp. I like that. Local.
That was the vendor's name, wasn't it?
Local Arizona shrimp. Oh my gosh. And
if you bring the tails back, they'll make new shrimp. So that's the best part. They recycle.
Well, thanks for bringing that up.
No, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I was going to tell you that one of the nice things about the honey was when we bought it, the vendor said, if you wash this back, and she told us exactly how to put it in the dishwasher and bring it back.
Wash the jar.
Wash the jar. Yeah, not the honey. they will take it back, and you get a stamp book, just like a lot of things do, and you get a discount. But they're reusing those jars, which is fantastic.
Yes, so awesome. And then we went on a mission to get cold brew coffee.
Yeah, because we're at the farmer's market, and that's one of the things that we remember every time I go there is, oh yeah, they've got some cold brew coffee. Let's go get some.
Good. Mama's Cold Brew is what it's called. And we were standing kind of deciding, do we want it? And then we realized the line was massively long.
Yeah, because they were around the corner. And of course, we just saw the front and go, oh, there it is. And then we noticed the line. We're like,
we were those oblivious people standing at the front of the line, getting ready to step forward, not realizing
I've got my order.
Not realizing there's 25 people in line going the other direction. Don't you hate those people? We were them.
Those people that were in line, yes. We should have been in front of them. Anyway.
Right. So it's like, okay, well, maybe we can find cold brew someplace else. So we go on a mission. We're going down the row with all the food trucks, because that's what the farmer's market really is. It's local vendors, right? They're doing their thing. There was meat there as well. You could get beef. Grass fed.
Grass-fed's really cool too, but grass-fed meat.
Grass-fed is a stoner.
Yeah, that's right. That's a different vendor. I forgot about him.
Totally different vendor, right? Totally different baked goods and everything. Grass-fed, love that guy.
That's right. That was half-baked as well. So.
There you go. So on our journey, we passed like a smoothie truck, acai bowls.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is good to know. We go to the next truck. I go, oh, honey, look, they have cold brew. And they had some great flavors.
Yeah, they had a nice little stand out there, which was perfect to get your attention. We're going, oh, yeah, salted caramel caught my eye.
Yeah.
They had vanilla and a couple other flavors.
Right. So we're standing in line waiting, and we're looking at their menu, and it was called the Biscuit Freak. Biscuit Freak. And I'm like, did you want to get breakfast here, honey? And he's like, no, I was just thinking about coffee. And
that was the plan.
That was the plan. He's looking at the menu and he goes, but that biscuit sandwich freak sounds pretty good, And I'm like, all right. And I said, do you want to split that? And he goes, yeah, let's split that. Yeah,
let's do that.
We're imagining this tiny little thing. And then I go, oh, look, they have maple, bacon, and cheese biscuits. Todd's all over that.
I'm in.
He's like,
I changed my mind. I'm going, that's what I'm having.
Immediately. And I'm kind of like, well, I still kind of like the idea of the biscuits and gravy. How about you get that maple bacon cheese biscuit
deliciousness thing,
and I'll take a couple bites of that, and then I'll get the little sandwich, and you can take a couple bites of that. So we agreed to that.
Mm-hmm.
So we finally get our food, and it is gargantuan.
It is huge.
And so I've got this big plate of biscuits and gravy and eggs and bacon and cheese. And Todd gets a huge biscuit drizzled with maple syrup.
Oh, and bacon on top. And it was ridiculous.
And it was so delicious. And I'm thinking, how did we come to the farm market to buy local produce because we are inspired and motivated for healthy living, end up eating biscuits and gravy?
Biscuits and gravy and bacon.
Oh my God. This is a freaking conspiracy. I mean, literally, our entire point for getting up early. And I'm thinking, what the hell happened? I'm like, acai bowl. I just passed the acai bowl. And I've got this big ass biscuit and gravy in my lap.
Sausage gravy. It was delicious. It
was so good.
But you're right. We did pass the acai bowl thing. And I had an acai bowl yesterday at home.
It's not the same.
No, it wasn't the same, but I didn't want it 2 days in a row. And then the biscuit with maple syrup and bacon. I'm going, oh yeah, I got to have that. That is the American breakfast.
It's I think that's called the standard American diet.
Sad.
It was very sad.
Yep.
So I'll tell you, I only ate several bites, not even half of it, put it away. I was like, okay, that's enough. And now I know my intention is to get the smoothie. And keep this going. But we just thought that was so freaking hilarious.
But there's a bright side to this. It was local.
It was a local biscuit. It was.
We did eat local. Yeah, we did
eat local. We won. High
Yeah, there we
five,
go.
babe.
That's
Bam.
right.
We did it. Well, I think that's it for today.
Yeah, that's it. That's our story of the farmer's market. And now we know to be motivated next time to have a plan of what everything we're going to get. And if we are going to eat at food trucks, which ones are acceptable.
We know where to get our iced coffee now, where there's a shorter line, but
Yeah.
skip the biscuit.
Yes.
And I'm going to have a smoothie next time.
Right. And we're going to have our honey here as a snack after we get done doing this podcast.
Yes. And we were looking for fresh baked bread there. We really like the rye bread. And I think there's some benefits. So we bought that fresh baked rye today at Neater's. And so if
Neater's
anybody,
Bakery.
yeah, Neater's Bakery. So if anybody knows a better place to get fresh baked bread, we did that for the first time last week. It was amazing.
Oh, loved it.
It was amazing. And so now we've got local honey to put on it.
Local honey on fresh baked bread.
Not half baked.
Not that baked bread.
And it's not,
that would be no good.
and it's not
I like
fresh baked Fred.
No, it's not.
All right. Love you, honey.
I love you too.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.